Amazing city. Jonathan Grieve is a ordinary farmer from South Africa. I'm a family man. I have happily married with 2 children. A daughter is Morgan, who's 9 years old, and my son is 5 years old. And greater than that, I guess I'm I wouldn't say a closet artist, but trained as an artist, and still is a very big passion of mine. Not that I get any time to do art at the moment. More my time is spent on farming and the whole holistic way that we do the farming practices, and obviously creating the wines that we do. My passion is to grow vines and to grow grapes and really create incredible wines, and wines that are really express where they come from. So individualistic wines and products that are unique and that you can't find anywhere else. And I believe you can only really do that through the biologic way of farming that we've incorporated into our production. If we build the soil, balance the soil, look at broad spectrum nutrition, through that we get really healthy plants. And healthy plants don't get disease. It's the same as you and I. If we're healthy, if we eat properly, if we make sure that we've got all the vitamins and the nutrients and the supplements, the chances that we're going to get sick are much reduced. It's exactly the same in vineyards. If we've got broad spectrum nutrition, then your vines are going to be healthy. You're not going to get the diseases. We don't need to spray the chemicals to control it. But more importantly, the beautiful part of it is that then we start getting these incredible grapes coming out of it, which is full of flavor, full of expression of, to use a cliche, the terroir, to use that is something specifically Avondale. And that's the reason why we farm this way. You know, the underlying idea behind the biologic system is to get Mother Nature to do the work for us. So instead of using chemicals, be it organic or chemicals or whatever, in my view, they're pretty much all similar. You know, organic chemical is much better than a conventional counterpart, but at the end of the day, it still kills off all your beneficial things, all your beneficial insects, all your ladybugs, all that type of stuff. So we looked at this and said, well, this doesn't make too much sense. You know, if I'm saying that I'm holistic and I'm natural and I'm organic, but I'm still using organic chemical that's killing things off, that doesn't add up to me. So we started exploring different aspects and saying, okay, the founding sort of question, how does Mother Nature control the issue? And I started doing some research. Luckily, there's an amazing thing called Google these days that you can go along and look at all sorts of industries. And I stumbled across a producer in I think it was in America, who's a vegetable producer and has a small little patch. And he said, no, he uses ducks. So I thought, okay, well, that sounds fun. It's interesting. But how do I apply a small sort of backyard type of orientation to 70 hectares of vineyards? I actually do all my orchards as well with it. So I was, okay, you know, how do we do this? And of course, because in Africa, we have lots of wild animals, and because we farm the way we do, we also, and against the mountain, we have all the wild animals coming down. So we have lots of black eagles and hawks and buzzards and that type of stuff from a bird life perspective, and then into caracals and leopards even on the farm. So we had to adapt it. We couldn't leave the ducks out there. So to cut a long story short, what we managed to do is that we worked out a system. We had our old converted reservoir that we keep the ducks in, and we call it the boarding house, and they go back there every evening, and the weekends they have a bit of time out, so they're allowed to relax there. But it's basically covered in, it's secure, so none of the predators can get to them. And then we have a tractor and a trailer, which we call a duckmobile, and we've trained them to come in. When they hear the tractor coming along, they get very excited. We open the door and they literally walk up onto the back of the trailer, onto the back of the duckmobile, and off they go to the vineyard that they're working in. They walk off, and then they'll take 4 or 5 rows at a time and eating the snails as they go along. In the evening we pick them up again, and they hear the tractor coming once again. They know what's good for them, otherwise they will literally be sitting ducks if we leave them out there. So they come back into the tractor, they walk up onto the back, and off we go back to the boarding house again. And the beauty of the system is basically the fact that we can actually control an issue, being the snails, naturally. Any byproduct out of this whole system actually adds to the fertility of the vineyard. So it's a win-win situation throughout the whole system. And of course, there's a nice byproduct at the end of the season as well.